All right, once again, thank you all for joining us this evening with the Daily Smoke. I'm your boy, Brother Ron.
Brother Los.
Brother Jam.
Brother Black Pan.
And we are the Daily Smoke. And thank you all so much again for joining us. You all could have done many different things this evening, but you all decided to join us. We really do appreciate you all. This afternoon, we have a very special guest with us. His name is Brother Tamani Mwandani. He's with the Black Gold Nation. We have been really looking forward to sitting down and talking with this brother, and I'm certain you all are going to find him just as interesting as we have as well. And I'm sure some of you all may have questions for him, and the number's at the bottom of the screen where you can call in and speak with him directly. He'll address any questions or anything you may want to talk with him about. But before we get into that, we're going to do our usual and just, converse amongst one another. How's everybody doing today, man?
Man, I got my AC fixed. I'm okay. Man, my AC been out since, in my house, mind you, my AC been out since Saturday. My God, I never understood the term oppressive heat until the combination of this weather and not having my AC.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
It took a while for it to cool down the house.
It was probably, because I actually stayed up a little bit last night. It was probably about midnight before
Really?
the house actually got down. Before I heard the AC cut off for the first time, because from the time he connected it, which was everything was done probably about 5 o'clock in the evening, which of course is the hottest part of the day. But we set it on 70, and when we set it on 70, the temperature inside the house was like 93. And so it took till probably about 11:30 midnight for it to get down in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, that's good enough. And I turned it up a little bit, just so I'm not running through electricity. But my goodness.
Yeah, everybody start clapping when the compressor kicks in.
The thing about it is I didn't even realize that ours was, the old unit must have been in really bad shape, because we didn't even realize how loud it had gotten. Because, it just did it progressively over, probably of course months. But we didn't realize how loud it had gotten. Now this new one is in there. It's so quiet. We had to go outside to check to make sure the damn thing was running.
Wow.
So, but I won't complain, because the guy came and fixed it. He got in there, did his job. He was out in a matter of a couple of hours. I am not mad at him. He is my personal hero right now.
Especially now too, because it's been, today earlier was 97, feels like 107. I don't understand this 10-degree thing. Just a little while ago was 93, feels like 102. That's 10 degrees, the difference. I don't understand this. What do you mean it feels like it? Because it is 103 then.
What it is if
Like
if you're measuring the temperature, so say like you're measuring the temperature of the air, right? And so say if you a few feet above the ground, the temperature's going to be 93 degrees. But when you factor in that heat hitting the cement, bouncing back, or bouncing off of buildings and all of this kind of stuff, or even the cement soaking up heat and then becoming a heat source itself, that pushes the temperature up even more.
Right. So we got to go back to them tornadoes rolling around.
I know, right?
Beltway
Cooling city off.
Beltway cooling system.
Times like this, can we just get a freeze in the summertime?
Please.
Can we get one of those?
Yeah, but when we do get that, then yeah, something's wrong.
Right.
You get a freeze now,
It,
that would be something, especially here, that would be crazy.
one thing I find interesting, I was watching the weather this morning, they was talking about, the heat and heat advisories and all of this. But we have, how sometimes they talk about like air quality.
Okay.
And one of the things that they was talking about this morning on the news was saying that we have Saharan dust.
That's common.
Really?
Yeah, so dust all the way from the Sahara Desert in Africa is traveling across the Atlantic and making it all the way over here.
Really?
Yeah.
You're supposed to see it on your cars, little yellow haze, not from the pollen, but from this dust.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I've seen a few cars driving around coated in kind of like that reddish brown dust looking, and I'm like, is it really that thick?
Wow.
Traveling all that way over water, and it's still in the air, and it still drops on you. God damn.
Wow.
But there's a pipeline, as far as, if you think about it, most hurricanes start off the coast of Africa, and then they work their way over into the Atlantic and then into the Gulf. So there's air currents and water currents that move in between Africa and right into the Gulf of Mexico. So we're in a prime spot to get stuff like that.
I'm sure our guests can talk more about it tonight. They say that the hurricanes take the same route, the same as the transatlantic.
No, that's because some people say that it's the same way. I guess because the current will push that boat faster.
Take that.
That's what I'm saying. So now these hurricanes are coming like in the spirits of these
Right.
ones they dropped off. Like, you know what? We don't care who lives there now. We're tearing your shit.
Oh, that perfect strike.
It's like, we're coming to get you.
Man, I was watching some stuff on the news earlier. Y'all know who Lauren Boebert is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, she's a congresswoman in the House. Okay, so she's a Republican, and the interesting thing is, of course, being a Republican, she's super conservative. She's one of these Trump supporters and all of this kind of stuff, and anti-abortion and all of this. So there's this organization that's been doing some investigating into her background.
All right.
Now they've come to find out that she was an escort. An unlicensed escort, because I believe she's a congressman from Nevada. So, you know, it's legal there, but you have to be licensed. And she was an unlicensed escort. So you're an illegal prostitute. And she's had 2 abortions, according to their report. So you had 2 abortions when you was hooking. You know, and nothing against sex workers. I mean, hey, it's work. You know, make your money however you're going to do it legally. You know, hopefully they legalize it, whatever. Cool. But you were escort illegally. You on sugar daddy websites and stuff like that, advertising your services. But then they said that one of the people she was doing business with introduced her to Ted Cruz.
Hello.
Theodore Cross.
Right, Theodore Cross.
We don't claim him. The Latin community does not claim.
Isn't he from Cuba?
Born
in Canada?
Born in Canada, and he can run for president. That makes no sense.
But he's a Cuban born in Canada.
Right.
How can he run for president?
He shouldn't even be able to hold the office he currently has.
That makes no sense.
Based on
I can't run for president, and I was born in Puerto Rico while it was under U.S. territory. But that's what got me when I heard about that. I'm like, wait, he denounced his he got rid of his Canadian thing so that he can run. I'm like, wait, I thought you had to be born in these in the states that, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger can't run for president. He can be a governor, but not president. But why can he? That made no sense to me. But something to do with because what his mom and dad did in Canada, and he wasn't born at the embassy. Either way,
was he born maybe on a military base or something?
That's what happened with McCain. He was born in Panama.
But he was born on a military base.
Right.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, but they said, sorry.
But listen to that. You're born on a military base, you can run for president, but I'm born in Puerto Rico and I can't? What if I'm born at Saba, at Roosevelt Road? Then I can be.
I follow what you say.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you run for president, I'm voting for you, bro.
Oh, I hope y'all do.
Just so you know. Because I can't wait for you to get into the White House and meet with some diplomat and be like, ooh, this bitch fine.
Can you imagine those presidents, boy?
I might only make 2 terms. I mean, not 2 terms, 2 years before they throw me the fuck out.
You think they'd impeach you?
Well, then again, as we know, it takes 4 years to impeach me, so I'll do my 4.
Well, the White House smell like rice and chicken.
And by then, weed will be legal, so this smell like weed too. I ain't doing nothing wrong.
Look, you're going to do that on day 1.
You know, right?
But
my first act. My first act note would be all the Trump shit, get rid of it. Now, let's go start from there.
But man, they found out about her being an escort. They found out about her involvement when she was an escort, apparently, with Ted Cruz in some form or fashion. And then it turns out that he was the one who encouraged her to run.
Okay.
Gave her, I think they said, a $750,000 donation to her campaign.
Okay.
Now, he declared the donation like he was supposed to.
Okay.
She didn't.
Okay.
So now they're investigating her for possible fraud on that respect.
Wow.
So it's like, if the donation was perfectly legal, he didn't do anything wrong. Like I said, he claimed it like he was supposed to, reported it like he was supposed to, but it's the fact that you didn't. And now of course they're looking into the other things about her being the escort and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, man, all these people who sit back and they want to wag their fingers at the common man, they're doing the exact same stuff we doing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, when it comes to something like that, I don't care if she was a hoe or not. I don't give a fuck what you did back then. But you're going to be hardcore on abortion when you got some yourself.
That's the part. It's
because I'm done with that shit. fuck the rest of y'all women.
It's the
That don't make
hypocritical
no sense.
factor that kills me.
Right.
It's like you want to tell people that they can't do it when you've already done it
Right.
twice.
Right. That's like with that lady, the one dumbass from Alaska, the governor lady that ran for vice president.
Palin.
Yeah, she was
Palin.
she was the only governor there because no one else wanted to do that shit. When she was trying to do about the teenage pregnancy shit, and then her daughter ends up pregnant. Like, dumbass, stupid. That's what I always say. The only reason she was governor is because no one in Alaska wanted to do that shit. You want to do it? She said, I'll do it. And, okay, you're governor now.
She was not the brightest candle in the box. Let me tell you
She
that.
was.
Okay?
She had good eyesight. She could see Russia from her window.
That was almost like purposely saying, McCain, you're not going to win, so just run with her, so at least we can say we had a woman. I don't know what it is.
But that's the thing. To be a female Republican, to be a female politician in the Republican Party, you gotta be majorly. I at least in my opinion, you gotta be majorly corrupt. You know,
Right. What makes
Look
you
at-
say that?
I mean, just look at the things that they do. There's so much of their platform that's anti-woman. You know, they're trying to take away the women's right to an abortion, whether or not you agree with abortion or not. So many of them have been caught having their mistresses, having their wives. Now this chick, Lauren Boebert, she's had them herself. Y'all do it, but you want to tell other people that they can't? You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like anything else. When you have the money and you have the privilege, you're going to, even if your state makes it illegal, guess what? You're just going to travel to one of the states where it is legal,
Right.
get it done anyway, and come back home and pretend like it never happened. I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and a guy posted a video, and he's like, I used to work at an abortion clinic. And he said, basically, one night he had gone out with some friends, stayed out later than he had intended to, and decided, well, rather than driving all the way home, I'm just going to go to my job, catch a few Z's in the parking lot, and then go to work, you know. Said he pulled up to his job, this abortion clinic. I think he said it was probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Pulled up to his job. He parked outside, but the parking lot is full of these black cars. All these rich people come into the abortion clinic, and they're not driving their own cars. They got
Wow.
chauffeurs driving them up there so nobody can, you know, catch their license plate or anything.
Yeah.
But they getting their abortions done off the books outside the regular clinic hours.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But you got the money to do it.
Hey, USA, USA. That's what we do. You know,
That's what we do.
all over the place. Everywhere.
Oh,
That's what we do. That's what we do. We talk a lot of shit, and we can do it. And then when you do it, no, if we're not making money, you can't do that shit.
Right.
So, you know,
That's exactly.
that's like I was saying earlier. They told people, go ahead in, man, because we need to make prices high. You know, what the hell does Ukraine got to do with food here?
Right.
You know, or gas. We got plenty of gas. You don't have to raise those prices. Like y'all using that shit on like.
That's mainly the Saudi Arabians, man. They're milking this stuff for the way all this work. Because I was watching who was that? I want to say it was Bernie Sanders. He was had a debate the other day with Lindsey Graham, and he said in that debate he was talking about how a barrel of oil right now is like $118 a barrel. The last time oil was $118 a barrel, gas was not $5 a gallon.
Oh, really?
So this is not because the price of oil is high. This is these companies price gouging us. That's what this is. And I mean, gas is just the easiest example to point to, but it's on everything. Everything you're seeing at the store, everything you're seeing at the store that's higher than what it was, that's them price gouging us, man.
That's making up for 2020 and all that money they gave us. So shut the hell up. We gave y'all free money. Now pay for it. That's pretty much what it is.
Nothing's free.
You know. Yeah. So well, anyways, moving on to what Brother Ron had said at the beginning of the show about our guest.
Absolutely.
He's a spiritual, social, political, and revolutionary product of the shrines of the Black Madonna of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church. He's an Army veteran. Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
He's a serial entrepreneur. He's the founder and chairman of the Mosaic Global Investments, president and CEO of Clearly Written Solutions, Daily Smoke family. Let's welcome Mr. Tamani Mwandani.
I hope I took that right, man. They killed it.
Hell no.
was good. For the camera, you was awesome.
All right, brother.
Yes, sir. Indeed. There's the man. Huh?
Do we have the chat on the screen?
Yes, chat is up on the screen. Yes.
We just look by this chat. Come on, y'all.
All right.
You know, say something.
So good to have you with us, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Finally have you on the
I'm
show.
happy for the invite, brothers. Happy to be here. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. You want to go and start off, Jonathan?
So now we heard about you through Rafika,
Yes, sir.
Miss Rafika Guillory. So if you're out there watching Rafika, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course, we heard about the Black and Gold Nation.
Black Gold.
Black Gold, excuse me.
It's all right.
So
Black Gold Nation. That's not the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Black Gold. That's your melody. Black Gold. Your melody. Keep that in mind. Black Gold.
so let's start off right there. So tell us about Black Gold Nation.
Woo. So to tell you about the Black Gold Nation, I need to take a step back because the foundation matters. When I got out of the military in 1992 from South Carolina, got out in October, had already changed my name, read a few books, gave the name back. I knew what I wanted to be a part of and knew that it was not in South Carolina.
Right.
Had a very close friend of mine who was from Houston, got out before I did, joined the Nation of Islam, didn't like it because it wasn't enough sisters, and joined this church called Shrines of the Black Madonna.
Okay.
So he said, man, you got to come check out this church. It's everything that we've been talking about. Because in the military, we did a lot of reading, teaching, debating. We did a lot of stuff to try and awaken brothers and sisters in the military. So I got here on Saturday, went to the church on a Sunday, and joined the first Sunday because I had never heard a black person preaching speak the way that they were speaking.
Right.
All the mirrors were black. Everybody was black. The message was black. And it was like, why not? This is what I've been talking about since I've been in the military for the past 3.5 years. So I joined. And for the next 20 years, I was a member of that church. And I was a member of that church because we were actively building a black nation with power. We have multiple communities that we own and control around the country. The church started in 1953. As a matter of fact, every major civil rights and black power leader in the late 50s, 60s, and early 70s came through that church. Every last one of them.
Wow.
And if you listen to Malcolm X's speech, The Battle of the Bullet, he thanks Reverend Clarke, who's the founder of the church, for having him at the church. They were very close. They didn't like Martin Luther King that much, but they respected the brother for, trying to do his thing, So, after the founder passed, church started to change a little bit. My wife and I, we didn't like the changes, so we left. But I always knew that I had been blessed with some opportunities to live in a community that most of our people will never see. When we used to go out into the community to talk to black people, I would say it's the closest thing to heaven we will ever see. No crime, no drugs, no violence. We're in control. We had 5 apartment complexes. The youth had their own apartment complex in the middle of all the other complexes. Because we were trying to teach the youth that all you have is your brother and your sister. Ain't nobody coming to save you.
Right.
So you got to learn how to work together. We had a daycare, school, nursery, dining hall, public institutions, private institutions. We had a bunch of stuff. Had our own security. I mean, can you imagine when I was living there on the property, one police officer in 20 years that we called because we took in some families from Katrina. They had a different value system, so we had to kick them out. We had to make it legal. But so can you imagine? That's just one thing. A black community that don't need the police. That's just one thing.
Most people don't make sense.
It's illogical. It's like, what? I think I said the closest thing to heaven you will ever see. We had generational leadership. I was very fortunate when I got married. My wife's grandfather was one of the founding members in 1953 when they moved out. So I married in the world. So it's like at the height of the Shrine's leadership training, we were sending so many black people to Yale School of Divinity that the Shrine had its own wing. This is a black church, right? But if you understand the civil rights and the black power movement, Reverend Albert Cleage, Cleage, I'm sure you guys go and Google him.
Yes, sir.
Phenomenal brother that most people don't know about.
Yeah.
Because we were not about the public talking and speaking whatever. We're about the work. And that's how we were able to do what we did. So after I left the Shrine for a few years, I don't know what it was, but I felt that black people were looking for something.
Yeah.
I felt like I had something to offer. So the first thing I did was I wrote a book called Black Gold Devalue. Black Gold is your melanin. That's why it's Black Gold Nation. Black gold devalued because our melanin has been devalued, right? But I knew that writing a book wasn't enough. You know, people write books all day long. Yeah, I was a senior technical writer professionally. I've written a bunch of books, computer books, but I still wrote them, right? You know, books don't change nothing. What changes things are the work. So I started Black Gold Nation after I wrote the book because I felt that my little piece of my experience could be helpful for Black people. Again, if I'm only able to bring to Black people a safe space to live. Now, the Shrine had a lot more than that, but if that's all I can do, I've done a hell of a job.
Amen.
True.
Right?
Amen.
But of course, we have to do more than that.
Yes.
So, Black Gold Nation, brother, is based on what I learned, what I lived in the Shrines of the Black Madonna. And I will tell everybody, I'm an extremely proud former active member of that church, because that church was revolutionary in a lot of ways. What the Shrine is talking about now, Black people still haven't caught on.
Yeah.
We were and still are light years ahead of so many people, especially not just the Black religious people, but Black people in general. I mean, our thought process is like there's a sister named Dr. Joy Gregory. You guys ever heard of her? She came up with post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The psychology of what slavery has done to us and how it still affects us.
Absolutely.
The Shrine was talking about that in the 70s. And not just talking about it, but had programs, tenets, practices to help us deal with that trauma. Because that trauma still affects us.
Absolutely.
You know,
Very much so.
it's been proven that trauma can be passed down through the DNA.
Absolutely.
And I don't know of no group that's been traumatized more than us.
Agreed.
I mean, really. And I tell people, I don't know which one is worse, colonization or slavery.
Mm-hmm.
They stole us and brought us here, but they moved into our brothers and sisters' house, right? Right? You know, exactly, right? So if we're all aware of a child that's been sexually, psychologically, spiritually molested for the first 15 years of his or her life, we'd be foolish to expect that child to have a normal relationship with as an adult with therapy.
Agreed.
Right.
But we expect Black people to be okay.
Agreed.
I mean, really, we do.
Agreed.
And I've come across so many people who they see our introduction presentation, they love what we're doing, they join, but then a few months later they're gone. Because we want centuries old problems to be over in a few months. But somebody, this is great, but it's taking too long. And we don't realize, look, man, we're 400 years behind, literally, right? So the Black Gold Nation, brother, is based on what I was a part of in the Shrines of the Black Madonna, but also is based on what other Black people bring to the table. Because although I was an active member, proud member, we didn't get everything right. We got a lot of stuff right, but we made mistakes.
Right.
And one of those mistakes was we were very arrogant. If it's not our way, you know, it's the highway. And you know, we had some things going for us that nobody else had going for them, but that doesn't mean that you have all the answers.
Right.
So I realized, yeah, we got a lot of things right. However, there are things that we could have done better. So the Shrines, the Shrines of the Black Madonna, what it taught me, I have that as the foundation of the Black Nation, but I understand that there are other Black people out here who have done and are doing things that could help me move this mission forward.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's not about you. It's about Black people and Black children. Period. Right? So if I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim, but we both Black, and we know we Black, what we believe don't matter. Right? If you got 2 degrees and you have 1, but we both realize we Black, I don't care about your degrees, it don't matter. So I tell people, if we can agree on 3 things, fundamentally agree on 3 things. Anything else we might disagree on, because there are going to be disagreements.
Right.
We can talk about that later.
True.
If we can agree that we're Black, we're oppressed, and we want to end this oppression.
Absolutely.
Now, if you don't like the word Black, I don't care. Black, ADOS, FBA, Alpha and Omega, descendant of Africa, Africa descended, Moor, Hebrew Israelite, same people.
Right.
All come from that one continent that everybody's trying to reach.
The same group.
Same group. So I don't care what you call us, because at the end of the day, our enemies say, nigga. I don't care if you're from Puerto Rico.
Right.
I don't care if you're from Africa. I don't care if you're from... It don't matter. I don't care if you're from America. It don't matter. Native American. You know, I was listening to a brother. His name is Philippe. I can't remember the brother's name. He was interviewing some powerful older brothers about African history. And he posed a very, very powerful question. He said, brother, okay, well, who are we? Are we Native Americans? Are we Africans? Are we indigenous to the world? He said, we're all of those people.
Right.
Because we started everything.
Right.
And we traveled the world long before Columbus' stupid ass got lost.
Right.
Excuse my French, can I curse?
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Stupid
It's the
booty.
people's
Yeah.
podcast. You got it? It's the people's podcast.
Yeah. So, you know, it's unfortunate that we get caught up in names and labels, and all of it is tribalism.
Yes.
Messed us up then and it's messing us up now.
Yes.
So, blah, blah, blah. The Black Gold Nation is based on the shrines of Black Madonna. I'm trying to get other black people involved, and we do a number of things to get them.
So from what I was able to read from your website and some of your videos that you have on YouTube, and be sure, and he does have videos up on YouTube, y'all. So go look up YouTube, Black Gold Nation. Check out some of his videos. Very informative, and I guarantee you'll enjoy what the brother has to say.
The website too. It was on when we put in your intro, www.blackgoldnation.com. There's a lot of information.
But I saw that y'all have a election going on.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm glad you brought it up.
So talk to me about that. Are you trying to establish the leadership for
Yeah.
Black Gold Nation?
Yeah, so one of the things that I recognize coming out of the shrine is that we could not have been as powerful as we were not for our leadership.
Right.
We had some phenomenal leaders. And I tell people all the time that it hurts me when I see a Martin Luther King and don't see one of the leaders in the shrine. Because they were just as phenomenal. I see Malcolm X, and I don't see one of the leaders of the shrine. Angela Davis, one of the citizens from the shrine. Phenomenal leadership that could hold their own within these people. And that's not to take from them, it simply highlights the kind of leadership that we had. So I understand that if we're going to really, really, really seriously move toward empowerment and freedom, we got to know what we're doing,
Right.
right? And we're losing in every category of life. You know, agriculture, foreign policy, spirituality, weapons, security, intel, agriculture, you name it, politics, you name it, we're behind and we're losing.
Yeah.
And we're behind and we're losing because we're following people that don't know what they're doing. Like we talked about before the show started, you contacted several leaders who's supposed to be about black people. You know, I don't know what number I was. A lot of people out there talking, right? So we had to find people who know what they're doing in these critical areas of life. Why? Because we're losing. And I tell people, because this is what I believe black people are on the verge of becoming a permanent underclass. And the country built on the backs of our ancestors,
Absolutely.
right? So if I know that everything the white man has, we got to have. I'm a writer. That's what I do. I can explain anything on paper. It's what I do. I don't do IT. I don't do agriculture. I don't do spirituality. So why the hell would I be trying to give other people? That ain't what I do.
Right.
But I know there are black experts that do that, who love black people, who want to give back. But they're not going to spend time with some BS because they don't have that kind of time. They're mature adults.
Right.
But I know, okay, everything the white man has, we got to have. I can't bring it. Who has it? The leadership election.
Okay.
So the first one was in 2017. I knew what I knew. I knew what I was bringing, but I knew I couldn't do it by myself. I had to go get some help. So it was just me at that time, and I put out the call to black people. If you have expertise in any of these areas, and you want to give back to black people, and you believe in black people, be a part of this election. So the first time in 2017, we had initially 14 categories that eventually became 18, because people said, I love what you're doing, brother, but you're missing some stuff. Oh, am I? Are you sure? My name is Tamani. Yes, brother, you're missing something. So we added stuff, you know, and to highlight the awesomeness of black people. Black people are phenomenal. We're doing some stuff, but we're doing it for other people.
Right. Right.
So I had a brother who said, who's going to be in charge of designing our cities? I'm like, I don't know. He said, I want to run for that. I said, we'll have a department. He said, okay, well, let's establish it because I want to be a candidate. This brother was at the time, he was contracted with NASA to grow food in outer space. Won the contract and did it. Phenomenal expertise in the black community, but we don't know because we don't talk to each other.
Right.
Now he stepped up and said, I want to help lead. But come to find out, I was able to find competition for that brother. Qualified competition.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So if we're talking about, we got to have our own businesses, both here and abroad. We got to have our own Google and Facebook, both here and abroad. We got to be able to protect ourselves physically, spiritually, mentally. We got to understand what spirituality is.
Right.
We got to understand who and what we are. We got to understand politics. There's a lot of stuff that we got to do. Every aspect of life that affects our life, we got to have leadership in it because we're losing.
Right.
So when black people say we don't need leadership, I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course we need leadership. We don't know what we're doing.
Right.
That's why we're so far behind.
Right.
You gotta unlearn a lot.
Brother, we got the deprogram and then
And
reprogram. Right.
yeah.
And if we don't do that, well, that's why we keep making the same mistakes.
Right.
Because we haven't learned anything new. Right? But if I would hope in the face of new light and knowledge, you would do and act differently, and you can change some things as it relates to forward progress.
That's right.
So when people say we got to do security first, no, we got to do spirituality, no, we got to grow food, no, we got to do business, everybody's wrong. Because we can't afford to do one thing at a time. We don't have that luxury of one problem at a time.
No,
We got to hit this shit simultaneously.
Right.
Excuse my French.
You're good.
We really, and that's why we have the leadership election. Because I understand that while we are growing food, you know they're gonna try and destroy it.
Right.
That's what they do. So we gotta have somebody that not only knows how to grow food, but understand that we gotta grow that shit on the ground, right? I was interviewing a brother for our IT department. This brother used to run Delta Airlines' IT department.
Wow.
That's how phenomenal.
Wow.
Like I said, we're doing it, we're just doing it for other people.
Right.
I was talking to that brother about security. We were talking about specifically agriculture, growing underground, and he said, "I got chills." I saw this brother's resume. He got patents on it. He said, "We need to start thinking about drones." I said, "Oh, so we can survey our land and see the truth?" He's like, "No, to battle their drones, to shoot down their drones." I'm a writer. That's what I do.
Right.
This brother, but that's what he does.
Right.
He's in IT.
Right.
I don't do that.
Right.
But the fact that he brought that to me, that ain't my field. I would never think about that because that ain't what I do.
Right.
Right? I got a brother. His name is Dr. Anthony Johnson, but we call him Dr. Tutmore say because it's an African name. He understands African spirituality. He understands trauma, and we're traumatized.
Very much so.
Right? It's been proven. Studies have been done that black children that live in and around America's inner cities are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, a condition found in combat veterans, people who've been to actual combat. People shooting at them, trying to kill them. Our children are suffering from this condition,
Right.
but they ain't never been to combat. But they live in a combat zone. The black community. So this brother understands how to treat that trauma. We're never going to be better if we don't have trauma centers. But in order to have a trauma center, we got to have an institution by which we can attend to the ills of black people, not just the trauma, but so we can educate black people.
Absolutely.
So we can mobilize and organize black people. So we can train black people to take power. So nobody don't give a shit.
Right.
I don't care what they do for other people.
Right.
We black. Or whatever, with the camera. Or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know nothing about treating no trauma.
Right.
But Dr. Tuckmo say who has all kind of letters after his name. And he loves black people. Unconditional. And I say that. Undying commitment to black people. He does the trauma thing. That ain't what I do. I is a writer.
Right.
I can write anything. That's not what I do. So we got to understand that if we're gonna make it, there's no guarantee.
Right.
And Jesus ain't coming. If he coming, he late. That's how we know black. He late. Come on, bro. We can do some stuff. Let's go. We got to have an election because we got to find the best qualified minds to lead black people.
Right.
Why? Because our children deserve the best black minds to lead black people.
Right.
And we behind. Right? So we got to have an election to find the leaders, and then we got to find the voters. And then we got to get about the work. And the work is maybe another question. Go ahead.
Well, before any of that, though, we got to come together as a community. We're so divided amongst ourselves now that I can see why your work is so hard. To bring
Yeah.
people together and understand that this is for you.
Sure.
You know?
But we first have to understand that we ain't all we.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the Black Gold Nation, we have what we call 6 factions of African descent. 6. Because we're not all the same.
Sure.
Right? No, right? It's cool.
Right.
But think about it. You already know this. You just don't know about that title. We all know this. We just don't know about that title. Because we're not out, I'm assuming, we're not out in the street selling crack to young people.
Right.
I'm assuming.
Right.
I don't know y'all.
That's a good assumption.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
sign.
a safe assumption.
I got good vibes when I walked in.
Okay, cool.
And then Rafika told me, they good brothers.
Ask you for $5.
I got to get 5 on it. You know, we're not out raping and robbing.
Right.
Right.
And certain things we're just not going to do.
Right.
Right? So for us in Black Gold Nation, being black is both phenotype, melanin, how you look, and how you think.
Absolutely.
True.
It can't just be one. It can't just be black because Clarence Thomas is black.
Right.
You know,
Technically, he got dig it. He got melanin. He black. Candace Owens got melanin. She black.
Right.
but not for us. For us, she's melanated.
Right.
So you got these melanated people who terrorize the black community.
Yes.
We call them melanated Negro savages.
Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah, well, he's on another level. No. I mean, that's valid because he would be a melanated Negro intellectual savage because he gets into the minds of black people, which is also dangerous and deadly. But the savages are on the street. Now we're gonna have to deal with these savages at some point, but that's a conversation we're gonna have on camera. So when you say we got to understand who the we is. Now the we in this room, I can dig,
Right.
because we're on the same vibe. We understand what's what, but we ain't everybody that has melanin. So bringing the we together, yes, if it's the right we, and we're not wasting time with those who out doing things that they shouldn't be doing, or those who trying to please white people or whatever.
Right.
And let me say, just for the record, I do not care if you married to somebody who's not black.
Yeah.
I do not care if a person is from a mixed race marriage or whatever. I got nieces and nephews that come from a mixed race. I don't give a crap. Hey man, I don't give a as long them three things. We black, we oppressed, and we got to end this oppression.
Right.
So if we can get down on that again, whatever we might disagree with, and we're gonna disagree. We're gonna disagree as we hammering these nails because we
Right.
got to build, right? We're gonna disagree as we putting this magazine in the block because the enemy is coming.
Right.
We're gonna disagree while we planting these tomatoes, and we're gonna talk about it, but we ain't gonna stop building.
Right.
We're not gonna allow our disagreements to throw us off track because that's how we lose,
That's right.
and that's how we have lost. It's easy to point the finger at the white man, and the white man deserves some finger pointing for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But we got to keep in mind, we absolutely must keep in mind that white people would have never been able to do what they have done and what they are doing if a black hand didn't open the door.
True.
I take that back. A melanated hand opened the door,
True.
right?
Okay.
So we got to keep in mind that, yeah, the white boy is the white boy. He's always been the white boy, but he's had help, and he's still getting help. That's why we got to know that who the we are, because they're not going to send one of theirs first. They'll send somebody who looks like us, and because we're so loving and forgiving, and we messed up religiously and whatnot,
Right.
we accept everybody. We don't understand that, all your skinfolk and your kinfolk. That is true.
That's true.
But if we don't have a system to weed out those persons, and I don't just mean a physical test or a written test or whatever, we got to have a spiritual connection.
Right.
I've been fortunate to be around people who exist on a higher spiritual level. So when I've seen it when I'll say a non-righteous spirit in a physical form enters the room, I've seen the spiritual people move to remove that physical because they feel it,
Yes.
right? Most of our grandparents, especially the sisters, most of them had that kind of interaction with the energy field.
That's right.
Right? We got a lot of children. This is why it's so important that we have a youth program that's attached to something that matters, not just a college scholarship or summer program or whatever. It has to be about nation building.
Right.
Because if we're not trying to build power, what are we doing?
Right.
Right? So we got to make sure that, and that's why having the right leaders are so important, because we got to test our children at an early age to find out what they're naturally good at and what their purpose is. So that child will know, I'm having dreams. I don't understand them. But this adult who's a spiritual person understands, baby, that's okay. You're born to do different things. A child who's smart in math, man, you are all right. It's okay to be smart. We need math, right? So kids who are born to do different things. I got 3 kids. My middle child, my daughter, natural warrior, natural. From day one, she was protecting her older sister. But when she know how to walk, but she's always been protected, and she will get with you if you disrespect her.
Yeah.
Quick. My oldest is the diplomat. She won't talk about it. My son is a little bit of both. You got to push my son before he gets with you. But my middle daughter, she was born to protect. That's who she is. So if we got born warriors, and I'm sure we know born people who like to fight,
Right.
it's okay you like to fight.
Right.
Negro, fight the right people.
Right.
Right? If you want to shoot the right people. Because some people deserve to be shot. Like Mr. Frank said, some people deserve to die. I'm serious.
For sure.
Hey man, if Trayvon Martin was my son, there's no way in hell Zimmerman would be walking around.
Man,
You
I
know,
felt the same thing myself.
You talked about me being in the military. That white boy taught me well.
That's simple.
I will snap your ass from where I still practice.
Here we go. She
Shit, man. So we got to. I got box. I got chips. We got to understand that we are born in a war, man.
Right.
That we didn't start,
Right.
but that don't matter. Surrounded on every front. 350 plus years behind on knowing that we're in a war. right? But Jackson said you may not be responsible for getting knocked down, but you sure are responsible for getting back up. We got to get the F up.
Right.
But it has to be the right us that get up.
Right.
So the leadership election, but is important because we can't move without leadership. But we got to have youth that we're training to take the place of the leaders, because we know whenever a person that looks like any one of us steps up to do for our people, we get targeted for exile,
That's right.
incarceration,
That's right.
or assassination.
That's right.
This ain't no game. That's why these people don't show up, because they playing games.
Right.
That's why they write them books, because they playing games.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
why they just talk, because they playing games.
That's exactly
Right?
right.
So I know I'm not in this for me.
Right.
I'm not in this for you Negroes.
Yeah.
Even you Puerto Rican. I'm in this for your children.
Right.
I'm in this for your children. I'm in this for your grandkids. Why? Because they're coming next.
Right.
And they don't have a clue because they're kids. But we know, because we've been adults for a minute. Right? We know what's coming. We know what's waiting for them. So if we don't find these leaders, brother, if we don't have this election, if we don't have a youth program, which is why we were having the fundraiser, if we don't have a youth program that's about something that's serious, man, we're wasting time, and we don't have a bunch of time. Right? The America that comes out of this pandemic is not going to be the same America that went into it.
Got
And
that
she wasn't
right.
pro-black when she went into it.
Got that right.
Y'all were talking about the gas prices and the oil. All that shit is political, excuse my French.
Right.
And America's a corporation.
Right.
Very much
You know, the land of the free, home of the brave, that's some BS.
Right.
America's about power. White people are about power. So what happens to us, amen, what happens to us happens because we don't have the power to stop it. So we got to be getting some power. How you get power? In a lot of ways, but you got to have the right leadership. If you don't have the right leadership, what the hell you doing? You wasting time.
Let me ask you this question, because I've said this for years, but in my opinion, segregation, the end of
I
segregation,
agree.
was one of the worst things
I
that
agree.
happened to us.
Yes, sir.
Because when we were dependent upon ourselves,
Yes, sir.
we had no choice
Had
but
no
to
choice.
find ways to make things work.
Work that shit out.
If we needed a dry cleaner,
Yes, sir.
it was going to be one of us that opened that dry
It
cleaner.
had to be because you couldn't go nowhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
If you needed a seamstress,
Yes, sir.
it was going to be one of us who sewed your clothes.
100%.
If you needed a grocery store, it was going to be one of us who opened that grocery
Yes, sir. I'm with you 100%.
People wonder why places like, Black Wall Street and all
Yep.
this was so successful.
Yep.
It wasn't because they were doing anything special. They were just being self-sufficient.
They had no choice.
And so when you say the things that you're saying, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
I hear us needing to be self-sufficient in as many ways as we can possibly be
And separate.
self-sufficient.
And separate.
And separate.
As many ways as possible. And I'm sorry, is there a question there?
No. Please, go ahead.
Separation is not bad.
Right.
Because if we're being honest, integration never really happened.
That's true.
There's still separate communities all over America.
That's true.
There's still places that we can't go. I don't care what year it is. They will scoop your ass up in a minute and kick you out. You just can't do it. So we got to be like everybody else for our group. Everybody else has their own communities and do their own thing. We got to do the same thing if we're going to avoid becoming the permanent underclass.
There's a Chinatown in every major city you go
Every
to.
and we've been here longer than them. But we got to understand that the reason why we don't have little Africans, because we've had them before. After slavery, from the end of slavery in 1839, I think, when the 13th Amendment was signed, to the early 70s, black people established over 200 cities that we control. And you might be the name too, because we're not talking about these things, right?
Right.
So we did understand the importance of doing for self, and we understood that we couldn't go anywhere else.
Right.
And we did it like everybody else did it. But the difference is, when we do it, they destroy it.
Right.
Or we're so eager to be with our oppressor because we're psychologically sick, we leave it.
Right.
Right? And we don't understand that integration is not good. Because you lose power.
Right.
You lose connectivity. You lose expertise. And your people end up suffering because you have nothing. So we have to get back to understanding we must be separate, because white people are bad for our health. They just are. They just are. And hey man, check history. So
I'm not arguing with you.
yeah,
brother.
and I am not saying, man, I'm not saying that I'm anti-white, because I'm not. I got some dudes I was in the military with, man. If something pop off, I want this dude in the foxhole with me. Because the nigga, he white, but he's a good shot. I can depend on him. And I call him my brother because he is. Right? But I understand, at the end of the day, you go back, take your ass back to Idaho. I'm going to hang out with my people. right? But we still cool.
Right.
And that's one thing that the military does. It brings you together with a bunch of people, and you will never lose those relationships. But I'm black at the end of the day.
Right.
There are conversations that we've had with our male children, nephews, or whatever, that they would never have. Because they don't have the same relationship with the police as we do, right?
Right.
So we got to understand, man, we absolutely must get back to being separate and having our own space. That's why one of our main missions, the ultimate goal, is putting our people in a position to run cities. Literally. Why? Because if we can run a city, we can control the political apparatuses that are giving people hell right now.
Right.
True.
So if I'm a righteous brother, if you're a righteous brother, you're a righteous brother, the police brutality ends because we give them niggas.
Right.
And niggas come in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
Right.
Like these black people, right?
Right.
All of them. If there's poverty, we find a way to deal with it because we run the city and we righteous brothers. If there's a lack of education, we fix it because we care, because we righteous brothers. There are over 1,700 plus predominantly black cities in this country. We got to run all of them, or as much as possible. Why? Because we got to be able to control the space. And if we can control the space politically, what are we doing? We're controlling the budget of an American town or city.
Right.
We're controlling the police department of an American town or city.
Right.
We're controlling the educational system of an American town or city. And God forbid if that American town or city is where an HBCU is, because now we have access to that HBCU.
Right. That's good.
Right? So dig it. You see it? Right? So if we're controlling the budget of an American city, not one city, not 5 cities, not 10, let's say 100. Right? Let's say we control 100 police departments. That's our military. Right? It's clear.
Right.
The land that's in these cities, that's how we grow our food.
Yeah.
Right? The people that we need, that's where we get the people from. So everything we need, brothers, everything we need is right there for the taking.
Right.
We just got to go get it. And our problem is that we're waiting on somebody to give it to us. They're never going to give us reparations. But that don't mean we can't get it.
Right.
We got to mobilize and organize and take it.
I was just gonna say we could take it.
We gotta
they're
take
not gonna
it.
give it to.
They ain't gonna give you nothing. They're never giving you anything because you're black.
Right.
We gotta remember that we were brought here to work and be property. And a lot of people still want us back in that status of existence. And a lot of people still think we are less than they are.
Right.
They don't understand that this melanin is powerful.
That's why they keep us incarcerated. That's how they can still keep us as a slave.
Sure.
Once you go into that prison system,
Hey man, the 13th Amendment, there was an escape clause.
Right.
right?
It said the slave is abolished unless
Right.
you've been convicted of a crime.
Right.
And that's when those black codes and those slave codes start popping up, and black people were thrown in prison for being out after dark, spitting on the ground, looking at a white man, looking at a white woman, congregating groups of 3 or more. God forbid you had a big family. You go back to prison
Right.
for years.
Not having a job
For years.
when they won't hire you.
For years. Right?
Right.
So we got to understand prison is a business, man.
Yeah.
It's a business. And we are still seen by our oppressor as the planet's niggas. But unfortunately, we contribute to the nigga factory. Right?
Yeah.
This shit is on automatic pilot.
That's
So-
about Trump, isn't
Brother, big time.
Absolutely.
Because we hate ourselves. We are the only people on the planet who actively work against our own forward progress.
it? Right.
And we'll argue with another brother who's trying to do some good.
Right.
Why are you doing that? Why is it only for black people?
Right.
We sick.
Right.
I mean, really, we're psychologically damaged. And that's why it's so important to know who and what you're dealing with. That's why we gotta know who the we are. Because, for one, it's never been everybody. It's never going to be everybody.
Right.
People saw Martin Luther King, but not everybody was out there marching.
Right.
People saw Malcolm, but not everybody was out there marching. People saw the Panthers, but not everybody was supporting them.
Right.
Because it's never everybody.
That's right.
Because there's some niggas are cowards.
Right.
Some people are afraid. I've had people tell me, brothers and sisters, I'm okay with the sister saying it because it's a woman, I don't trip. But I've had brothers tell me, look, man, I'm just scared. That made me feel a certain way because you got testicles. How are you scared? And it's sad because we act as if our fear is supposed to stop white people from being white.
Right.
Give a damn about your fear.
Right.
They're about the power.
Right.
So we got to. He gonna do what he gonna do, right? So if you know, brother, if you know, you got kids.
No, I don't.
You got kids.
Yes.
How many kids you got?
I got 4.
You got grandkids?
No.
No. I
grandkids.
guess that's a stupid question. I
2
All right,
grandkids.
2 grandkids. Nieces and nephews.
No, I'm a child, bro.
You gotta pray for this, brother.
We have been.
Young people that you care about. Damn, young people that you care about.
I'm listening, bro.
Do you have young people that you care about?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
Aiden, all right. Kids?
Uncle to all our children.
Dig it. Well, amen. Extended family. All right. So if you know, brother, if you know in your heart of hearts that I mean your children harm, are the people that you call your children.
Right.
And to be honest, it's a community, it's a village. They're all our kids.
Right.
If we thinking right. If you know I mean your kids harm, and you know I want to do harm, destroy your children, is there anything you would not do to stop me from getting to your kids?
A damn thing.
Right? You don't care. I don't care how big I am,
Right.
how strong I am, what I got on me, whatever. You will move heaven and earth to ensure I don't get to your kids.
That's what I always say. I'll go to jail happy.
Fuck fear.
Go straight away.
I'll go, but I won't be happy.
I'll-
I'm too small to go to jail. But we act like being afraid of our oppressor is gonna change something,
No.
and it's not, because he's been doing what he's been doing, and as quiet as it's kept, he's done it all over the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Every melanated group he's come into contact with, he's either destroyed or tried to destroy. Man, that's history. So if I get in a fight with you, and I know you got a mean left hook, I'd be foolish not to keep my hands up. This brother got a mean left hook. I've seen him use it. What you gonna do? Knock your ass out. I'm gonna keep my hands up. Why? 'Cause I know how you fight, right? And what's so sad about us is that the white boy hadn't changed his game. He's still doing the same thing. We just hadn't gotten hip to it yet. And that's why we keep falling for the okie doke, because we don't have no leadership. That's going to tell it. If you guys watch our podcast, we got a few of them, but one in particular, the Revolutionary Code. It's me interviewing the brother. It's supposed to be a conversation, but I just interviewed him because he has so much knowledge. And his name is Craig Lee. He's running for city council in Shreveport, Louisiana. As a matter of fact, he runs our political strategy and implementation department because the brother understands politics like nobody I've ever met in my life. The brother's awesome. He has laid he's created a map for me, connecting all the dots of how this global system of white supremacy works, and he's made it very clear.
Yeah.
So because of his leadership, I didn't know this brother when I first got started, but the ancestors, God, whatever you want to call it, placed him in my path, and we're connected. So he's given me a knowledge and understanding that I didn't have before he came along, but it's made me stronger. Now, what he's doing in Shreveport is laying a blueprint for how we're going to not only run for office, but run cities. Because Shreveport is predominantly black.
Absolutely.
Right? But just like Shreveport.
That's
Exactly.
number one state.
Exactly. So what happens, brother, after we start running these predominantly black cities, then what happens? The state. Because it's predominantly black. Right? So, I take it back, predominantly melanated, but we got enough black people to be in control, right? And that's why it's so important that we raise our children to understand power. We got a youth program. We're not trying to raise children to go get a job or go to trade school and work for somebody else. We let our children know that we want you here because you got to help run a city.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
Right? So we want you to go to trade school. We want you to go to college. We want you to do that to help come back and run this city.
Right.
Because if we don't control the space, we're going to keep losing.
Right.
But if we can control the space, that's what comes.
Right.
Can you dig it? All day, man.
Right.
All day. And what we're doing, because we're genius, we have what we're calling zip code captains.
That's brilliant.
I ain't even laid it out yet, but you already see it, right?
good.
So if a zip code is predominantly black, we got to know everything that's going on in that zip code. Where the businesses are, who's running them, who owns them, how much money they're making, where the elderly are, where the kids are, who's selling drugs, who's doing dirt. Everything, vacant land, vacant buildings, everything, we got to know what's going on in that zip code because you can't win a war without intelligence, data, and information.
Right.
And we already got it, we just don't know it because we've been black our whole lives, but no one's ever shown us how to get that intel out of our heads. But we already know what's what because we live in the space,
Right.
right? But if we can get the right people to understand what's what in that space, we can run these zip codes because they're already predominantly black. And what we don't realize, and we've all heard it, we have all heard how much money flows through black communities. We hear it all the time.
Right.
But you rarely hear, if ever, how to get it back or how to keep it.
Right.
Right? We're working on getting it back and keeping it. And on average, because we are doing the research, on average there are over 2,000 businesses in any given zip code in America. 2,000. And in Houston, we got 28 predominantly black zip codes. So we have something that we call the CARE Alliance. CARE is an acronym for Community Action Result Empowerment. We're going to give every business in a predominantly black space an opportunity to give back. You've made millions off of black people.
Right.
Give back so we can establish this conscious community center for our children. We're going to give them the opportunity to do that. We'll ask every business to give $100 per month or 1% of their profits so we can do something for our children.
Right.
That's $100,000 per zip code. That's only one thing that we can do. So that's the reparations we're going to get back. Right. So that's what the left. I'm going to say this on camera. So I got plans and everything can't be public. So I'll just say that's what the left hand is doing, but the right hand understands that we got to control all that revenue. So what if we have $100,000 coming through a righteous black organization in every black zip code in the country? And that's only, brother. That's reparations, man. Like you said, we got to take it.
Yeah.
But if you're not, if you only think on a level of what can white people do to help me, you've already lost, like Marcus Garvey said.
Right.
If you can't see yourself as the winner or the victor or in control, you've already lost. That's why that movie, The Matrix, is so important.
Right.
And most of us don't realize we're living in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get our kids to realize all y'all Neo.
Right.
All of y'all Neo. In the shrine, we used to say that every black child born is only waiting to discover his or her inner divinity. Every black child is Jesus. But they'll never know it. They'll always be Malcolm Little.
Right.
Because they exist in an oppressive environment. They'll never be Malcolm X. That's why we got to go get our kids. But we got to put them in the environment. We got to make it so that white people never get their hands on our children. Because if they get their hands on our children, it's screwed. America is a big old distracting circus. Right? And we're so distracted, we can't focus on shit. Excuse me, my friend.
Now, before you go, I mean, it's almost time to go. I saw
sorry.
something about
You good. No, you good, bro. You good.
I'm passionate.
No, you good, bro. You
I'm bringing
good.
this up because we talk about youth. Now, I saw
Come on.
something you're building houses or something, or homes for kids.
Thank you for that, brother. We're rehabbing a house.
Okay.
Right? So this is the beauty of black people. Black people got a bunch of resources. I was on a polling site with a brother, and we were talking about something. And I told him about our youth program. I told him that where we currently were, we needed more space, but I don't know where that space was going to come from. But I said, I got a house that's been empty since '05. If you want to do the work, you can control it for a few years. I'm like, but I'm not afraid to work. I've been black for 51 years. I'm not afraid to work at all.
Right.
So we're rehabbing the house, and the youth are doing the work.
Amen.
The adults are consulting the youth on doing the work.
Amen.
Because the adults got the expertise, the youth got the energy, and they want. And this is what's so good and important about talking to black. I hear people say black people won't do this. Have you asked black people? Have you talked to black people? How do you know what they're not gonna do if you don't talk to them?
Right.
I talk to black people every day, all day.
Right.
I admit we got some niggas, but everybody ain't a nigga,
Right.
So we got some adults. I got a brother who's been rehabbing houses for 40 years. He's gonna be our general contractor. I got a brother who does multi-million-dollar bathroom home renovations. He's gonna focus on the bathroom. I got a brother who's been doing plumbing for 20 some odd years. Our automotive mechanics instructor, a retired master mechanic, is also a retired carpenter. So we got the youth, we got the expertise. It's all over the community. So they are going to train the youth on how to rehab that house, and then we're going to build a business around it. Some of the youth are going to be on the board to learn how to run a corporation, because America's a corporation. How do you fight back? You got to be a corporation to fight back. Did that come out too fast? You have to be a corporation to fight America, because America is a corporation. Right? So we build a business around that, and we continue to identify, train, and employ black youth citywide to rehab houses. Now, rehabbing a house is only one thing. That's what, and our kids right now, brothers, are learning how to fire a weapon, different kinds of weapons. Clean that weapon, because if it ain't clean, it ain't gonna fire you. Click, bad time. How to build computers, how to fix cell phones. I'm teaching them how to build websites. Automotive mechanic starts in 2 weeks. They learn how to grow food. They're learning how to meditate. They start learning martial arts in about 2.5 weeks. So we are preparing our children to lead from a position of power. Now, I talked about the zip code captains.
Right.
We got to know what's going on in the zip codes, because there's opportunity in the zip code. There's businesses in the zip code. So we're not just training our youth because we ain't got nothing else to do. When the adults start doing what they got to do to start taking over these businesses, guess who's going to run the businesses? Right. These youth that we've trained to run the business. See, the beauty of the Black Gold Nation is that everything we talk about is practical and doable. We don't need no permission. We don't need no legislation. Right. We don't need no nigga move. Right. We coming, right? And it's wide open. Everything I talk about is wide open.
Yeah.
The only question is, are you, black person, are you ready to do the work? We have these garage sales every Saturday, man. And y'all were talking about how hot it is, and you talking about your AC going out. You know it's hot. It's hot every Saturday, right? But there's opportunity every Saturday, and I have to remind people that everything we have at the garage sale, people donate, right? Because they like what we're doing. They love the idea of rehabbing a house and training the youth. If you do anything with black kids, you're gonna get support, especially from black women. Right. But I'm married. Damn it. I love you, baby.
I'm not.
Yeah, you should come out. So people, they donate stuff because they like what we're doing, and we resell it, and we make a little profit, make some money, we keep it moving. You got to understand that Goodwill does the exact same thing. 95% of their inventory is donated, and they resell it. Goodwill is a $6.5 billion company doing the same thing we're doing.
The first time I heard that, I'm like, wait, I thought that was like some poor people thing. No, it's some dude that started gathering up.
Brother,
became a billionaire.
Check it, man. Check it. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of insight. So I want to have 10 garage sales up and running by mid-September. Each garage sale will have at least 4 to 5 different streams of revenue. 10 garage sales averaging $500 per garage sale is $5,000 a week. That's $20,000 a month from a garage sale.
Instead of getting that from selling crack.
Thank you.
You know,
So right. Those are CEOs. Right? The runners are salespersons.
Right.
The hitters are security. We got to give them something else to do.
Right.
You can't go to them talking about things that aren't tangible. Nigga, how I'm gonna make my money? I got you.
Right.
And you're not jeopardizing your freedom. And more importantly, I'm gonna plug you into some stuff that's gonna help you be bigger and better than who you realize. You don't know who you are yet. Because you exist in a nigga factory.
Right.
We got to get our kids out of the nigga factory and give them something else to do. So I can show you how to generate $5,000 a week. It won't all be yours. But it's okay because we're going to now add to that what I just said about the Carolines and getting the businesses to give $100. Money is everywhere.
Yes.
Money ain't the problem. We got money. Check this. If one black person, now this is real. This is I'm about to share you guys just math. This is just simple math. It's exponential growth. If one black person on Monday goes out to get another black person on Monday, and then one day we got 2 black people. So if those 2 black people did that again on Tuesday, one gets 1. Tuesday we got 4. We do it again on Wednesday, 8. Thursday, 16. Friday, 13. By the end of the week, we got 128 black people. All of whom have said, I care about black people. I want to see black people win. Our monthly membership fee is $5. Right? If we keep doing that, one black person getting one black person for 28 days. I'll show you the spreadsheet. Not even a full month. 28 days. If everybody gets $5 per month, we got $1.3 billion. I will show you the spreadsheet.
Wow.
That's how simple getting our reparations is. Now, that's one getting one. I've given you the Carolines. I told you about the garage sales. Money ain't the problem. Black people are not intellectually inferior. Intellect is not the problem. I know of no humanoid that's more naturally, physically athletic than the African. The physicality ain't the problem.
Right.
In spirituality, we're the most spiritual thing on the planet. We don't know it. You know, it's like Dr. John Henrik Clarke said, African spirituality, properly understood, is better than all 3 major religions. And everything else came from those 3 major religions.
That's right.
It's who we are, but we don't know that.
Right.
Our 2 greatest issues are that we're not connected and we're not organized. If we were connected and organized, half this shit won't happen because we'll be able to stop it.
Right.
And the beauty of what we're talking about, it's all possible.
You really, really understand Carter G. Woodson.
I try.
You really heard it.
I try.
You really did. Good
Yes,
job, brother.
Yeah, I hear him and a few other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, every day.
Henrik Clarke
Yes,
as
sir.
well.
Every
You
day.
really hear him.
John Henry Clarke came to the shrine.
Was he?
Yes, sir.
I love that.
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, he was given an assignment to rewrite the Bible, but he didn't do it.
fact.
For whatever reason. So I want you brothers to Google Albert B. Clay. I'm gonna send y'all some information. Y'all gonna do brothers
Now,
off.
and speaking of information,
Come
if
on.
somebody wants to donate to give to these
Absolutely.
garage sales, just contact you on Black Donation. Y'all come get the stuff.
Yeah, we do come pick it up. So I pass out every day. I try to put 100 flies on 100 homes. And before I'm done, I get a call because everybody wants to do it. I got some stuff. We're picking up some stuff today. If you are putting out the positive energy, it's gonna come back. So at the bottom of my flyer is my cell number. People call me if they want to give. But you can always go to the website and email me at theblackdonation@gmail.com. I'll go to our support page and click one of them buttons if you want to give. Money is, we need money. That's a given.
Right.
But what's more important than the money is the African spirit and the time.
Right.
Because the money, the movie The Black Panther made $1 billion in the first month. It made $1 billion in the second month. I'm not sure about the second month, but that first month, conservative estimates are that black people gave 75 to 80% of $1 billion to Disney and Marvel Studios, of which we got the money. We're giving it to everybody else. So when we talk about how much money flows through the black community, why does it flow through? Because we're giving it to them. If we didn't give it to them, guess what? No flow.
That's right.
But we don't think that way because we've been conditioned to think the other way. We can't run businesses. That's a white man thing. Matter of fact, you thinking white.
Right.
We can't do this. We can't do that. You thinking white, right?
That is one of the things that people say that drives me nuts.
Brother, we mess. And I say this all the time. You got to give the white boy credit. He's done a hell of a number of black people.
Absolutely.
Our self-destruction is on an automatic pilot.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's why it's so important we got, that's why I say that the time and the spirit. Because if your spirit is right, everything else will come.
That's right.
And if I'm sorry, I say this and I'll be done. If we don't take seriously the fact that we have an enemy who has never been playing games with us, who's always been about power, if we don't get serious, then we're almost certainly going to become a permanent underclass. And there are countries in this world, on this planet, where the caste system is real. In India, if you're born in a certain caste, you're going to die in that caste. Right? So if we don't get serious about what we're up against, it's over. Yeah, it's over. But the beauty is that there is nothing that can stop black. I'll take that back. There are two things that can stop black people: a higher power, which we know is not against us, because if so, we wouldn't have made it this far, and black people. The only thing that can stop us is us. Everything we do, we take to another level. I don't give a damn if it's bullshit like sagging pants.
Right.
The world does it. Why? Because we do it. We make everything funky. This would be hip hop. This would be a boring ass planet if we weren't on it. I say I'm putting this on a t-shirt. Black people are the rhythm of the planet. We make everything funky and the world follows. What if we got serious about liberation? What if we got serious about empowerment? What if we got serious about hitting back? Oh shit. Anyway.
Brother, I hate to cut you off.
I'm just enjoying it.
Right, because we could go a whole nother hour just listening
That's why I'm
to you
shutting
talk.
up. I try to listen.
You mentioned come on and talk.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no, for sure.
When you brothers were talking earlier about people not showing up, not answering the
Yeah.
phone, I was making a list. I got a list of people y'all come to. Awesome brothers and sisters.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Amen.
But okay, so before we wrap up, one more time, just for the people out there, give them the website, let them know where they can get a hold of you, if they want to join, if they want to donate, if they want to participate, where can they reach?
BlackOwnNation.com. Go there. All the information, like the brother says, a lot of information is there. Most of it's up to date, so that's good. And you can always email me at theblackdonation@gmail.com. Theblackdonation@gmail.com. I will give you my cell number, but I don't know it because I never called myself. My bad, people.
No,
yeah, that's
you
how you
good,
do it.
brother.
Oh, you can reach these brothers here, Nick.
And
That's
we're
fine.
gonna have a link to his webpage up on our webpage.
It's already on
so
there.
please check out www.thedailysmoke.com. That's THA dailysmoke.com. As we always say, that's where you're going to be able to find all the information of the people that we're working with, the guests that we have on the show, and the people that we got coming up. So please check out the website. If you want to donate, please hit up the Cash App, $TD Smoke. So please check that out. And if you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your spirit to give us a few dollars, we appreciate that. But if you can't, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. So that way we can get it out there and get the message, get the word out there.
Can I say a few things real quick?
Go for it.
So I want to remind everybody that we do have a youth program, ages 12 to 18, starts July 1st. There's all this black talk. I'm actually serious about it. Trying to get some kids to be involved. The program is free. We feed the little colored people. So that's a good thing. And secondly, I like to end all of my presentations, interviews, or whatever with two things. I want everybody to remember that, always remember that no one can do everything.
Amen.
But if everyone does something, everything will get done.
Amen.
First thing. Secondly, is that nothing is more sacred. Not me, not you, your kids, my kids, your family, my family. Nothing is more sacred than the empowerment and freedom of black people.
Amen.
Because if black people aren't free, guess what?
Amen.
You're not going to be free.
Amen.
I'm not gonna free. Your kids ain't gonna be free. Your loved ones ain't gonna be free.
Amen.
Your family. But if we put the group first,
Amen.
if we put the tribe first, if we put the nation first, and we build this black nation, then we'll be okay, because the nation will protect ours, and we'll wield our power like a two-edged sword. And we got to get people to understand that if you take one of ours, understanding who we are,
Right.
if you take one of ours, 4 of yours will come up missing. We got to hashtag ninjas this thing, and we can't be playing. I got chills again. We can't be playing because our enemies aren't playing with us, and we know that.
Right.
So I tell people, if you're serious about empowerment and freedom, then contact me. If you're not, don't waste my time and don't waste yours.
Amen.
Because this is what I do
Right.
every day, all day. Because I know what's coming after me. They don't have a clue, and I got to pave the way as best I can so that they're not in the same position that we're in. I'm finished.
Thank you
Man,
so
it is
much.
such an honor and a pleasure.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
All right,
you.
y'all. We're gonna wrap this up, and thank you as always for joining us on the Daily Smoke.
That
I
was a
really
hell of a
appreciate it.
class.
Right? Man, I'm telling you. Okay. But thank you for joining us on the Daily Smoke as always. We love y'all and thank you for being here with us. I'm your boy, Brother Jam,
Brother Los,
Brother Ron.
Brother Black Pan.
and our special guest, Mr.
Brother
Tamani.
Tamani.
Yes.
Thank y'all for joining us as always. We the Daily Smoke. We out. We love you. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.